April 25th, 2022. I'm in this rectangular pattern. I'm sitting here, I'm watching, I had a connection or a recall that I was sent for something that I went through in my youth. And then there was a connection to something that happened this week. Now, when I was little, there was the Merses. There was Mike and Alice with their daughters Donna and Maria. They took me to Booth Bay Harbor, Maine, where there was no, I don't think they had television, or we didn't watch television, and we stayed there. I have very little memory of it, except going by the water at one point. There was a game. There was two musical groups, Menti Rosa, by Mellow Mayonnaise, which spoke Spanish, a version of Spanish, or that's what they were calling Spanish. And then there was a Samantha Fox, who was Australian, who sang, "I Want to Have Some Fun." I was alone. Linda and Lou weren't there, and I was young. We traveled in a gray Queen Victoria to Maine. However, whatever roads they took, I don't know. But the state of Maine has the initials M.E. for sure. I'm in NY, which is where Maria and I both were then. While we were there, to have some form of interaction, they pulled out a card game. I did not know cards. Linda and Lou did not play games with me. They would buy me solitary games that I could play by myself, like memory, where it was flipping over cards, that kind of thing. But by myself, because I was an only child. I had nobody to play with when they were busy doing their adult things. And so they had this game called Flinch, Flinch. When we played in 1980s, at some point, when they took me up there, the game Flinch was old then. It was perhaps 50s or 60s is what the box looked like. It was like an antique, I would say. And we played the game. I don't remember the rules. I don't remember playing the game. But I had to learn how, because they were instructing me for these things, but I can't recall them now, so many years after. I couldn't even remember the name of the game until today, which is April 25th, 2022. I looked up this game, Flinch, on Google, and it has a tie-in with A.J. Patterson, with 2 T's, from a year 1901. And this week, or last week, today's Monday, but last week on the actual Earth Day, with the broadcast being Earth Day, there was a green signature change on the number 7 in New York news. That was the day that they had Rise, R-I-S-E, something to do with that, with the marijuana plant being sold in public in the state of New Jersey, which is NJ. And again, it was covered by this reporter, Anthony, who is not familial. Maria is non-familial in the sense of, like Alexander and my son, are familial. I don't have a word for the extension pieces that were introduced. I didn't have control over them. It's just where I've been taken. When I was a child, I was taken, and as an adult, I've been taken. I know there's people who know. I just don't know what they call themselves. So there's some tie-in, I don't know what it is, between this New Jersey thing and the A.J. Patterson. Perhaps. It just so happens to be timed with the memory coming back about Flinch, Flinch. DeSantis had something with Disney about don't say gay, but they spelled it Gay. And I'm like, does that have anything to do with Gaelic? Because Nooch and I were walking to school today, and there was the Irish flag. And it said fecking, Fecking, and then Egypt, or Egypt, on a bumper sticker. And my son we were studying the glyph, my son and I, on the back of the car, and I'm like, we were both totally mesmerized. Like, oh my God, that's one of our people. I mean, like, I even said to him, he says, I said, I'll try to pronounce what's underneath it, but what was underneath it was so foreign to, like, my eye and ear and ability to phonetically sound it out, because it was in a pattern that was so Gaelic and I haven't had enough exposure to it. So it was just fascinating. But it's like we couldn't take our eyes off of it. Him and I were just like, it was like a feast for the eyes. Him and I were just studying the word pattern, the signature lines, what the extra, like, instrumental color pieces and choices were on the bumper sticker. I mean, you'd think that you had put a Picasso or like a Monet in front of us and asked us to, like, analyze it. So that happened. And lastly, there's a piece on today's news, on See the BS this morning, where they call them Bronx bombers, but the fan base. So if I'm in the bottle, in my bubble in the bottle said that the New Bronx, Bronx, fan base, FAN, BASE, for the team Yankee, YANKEE. They thought that they were really, like, wonderful fan base and that they were just so nice and so on and so forth. But there was a very, what looks Afghanistan player that they hired on the Yankee team, TEAM, which I don't know if the fans ever have a say when they do these drafts and when they do this hiring, because baseball used to look a lot different. And I don't know how the New Yorkers keep getting these teammates that they didn't sign up, but yet it keeps changing the value scale in negotiations and collective bargaining and a whole other areas. So the fan base got really mad last night, and I didn't see the actual game. I saw the recap of the reporter, who is a not me or not us type person, reporting on the story for the player, who was also not us or not me. And he said that the fan base was throwing beer cans to this player that was playing for something called a New England Guardian. I guess the New Yorkers are feeling that the New England Guardians, being not representative of Mount Rushmore or Steinbrenner-ish league, is a bad whatever. They were throwing cans to show their dissatisfaction with New England and the look that they keep stuffing into the jerseys and then putting on the field and calling them New Englanders, Yankees, all sorts of things. No, they're not. But it's a clever way to play Flinch or Flitch. Flinch. So here we are. So here's the one with Paterson with one T, not two. And I also saw today that China in Beijing, I believe, put up green fences for some new outbreak that they've got going on in their zero tolerance of COVID.
Track again on the sales of legalized recreational marijuana in New Jersey. And for a second straight day, we're told sales were brisk. State officials say things so far have been orderly.
So see how it says rise over here? I'm not quite sure what that's about.
And gone well. Now they're getting ready for the first weekend of for sale signs for stores offering legalized cannabis. New Jersey reporter Anthony Johnson with the story. He's live in Paterson for us. AJ.
See, my reporters, my sports players wearing the team and brand and franchise jerseys are all turning up looking very much like this and very little like myself, my ancestors. And they're getting a lot of voice in the microphone time, and they're at different echelons where they're able to benefit, and it's causing massive future danger, for sure. There's stranger danger on the horizon in several areas.
Yeah, Bill, the afternoon rush is on at this Rise location here in Paterson, New Jersey. The parking lot around me is full as people continue to come here. They say sales at this location have been very good on the second day of recreational sales here in the state of...
To quote one of the baseball guys, do we look like family? Not so much.
Of New Jersey, and the hope is all of these people coming here will knock out the black market.
Have a wonderful day. Happy shopping.
Those who are already buying legally are already calling this a better alternative.
I do think it's the safest way to do business because there's here security guards, they check your ID, you go in, you get what you want and you're out.
The head of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission says the dispensaries now operating in the state are a much better option than buying on the street.
All these products are third-party tested. They have to be tested by a lab for potency, for make sure there's no contaminants, make sure there's no yeast or mold or microbial content.
Meanwhile, there has been added security at the locations allowed to sell adult-use marijuana. And cops in Paterson will be allowed to make extra money on off days to make sure everyone is safe and following the rules.
Our focus is obviously increasing the number of police officers because we're going to need them, right, for enforcement. And we're allowing off-duty officers to be hired by the dispensary because they're going to need security. And they're going to need real professional security as well.
Now that sales are rolling out, don't get foggy about the rules. Here's some reminders. Do be patient. Start slow, store legal cannabis products safely, and the don'ts include driving high, crossing state lines, and buying more than an ounce. And finally, be safe, be smart, and follow the rules as we move into the first weekend of recreational sales in the state.
I'm kind of glad New Jersey added it as adult recreational marijuana facilities. I think it opened it up for people.
Now, the dispensaries are saying that they do have the supply to meet the demand, but I talked to a couple of customers coming out of this store. They say they have run out of the products that they wanted already. Some of them, they're already sold out. That is the latest live coming to you from Paterson, New Jersey. Anthony Johnson, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
History made in New Jersey this week. Anthony, thank you. New York police are looking for the young
So now
young thieves who attacked and robbed a food delivery.
This beautiful 5 seasons of.
that was Friday the 22nd was that newscast. I'm going to pause this to get the update on the new one. Here's the New York Yankees. They actually changed up who's at the table today as well.
Yankees are asking fans to behave.
Oh, behave.
I know. After some, I mean, I used to think that we're good fans in New York, but look at this. Some very tense moments at the end of Saturday's game. Who just, like somebody in the peanut gallery just moaned when I said that. This was against the Cleveland Guardians. Fans from beer can.
Cleveland Guardians. Why does it say New England on their thing?
Cans. I know, this is not cool.
No.
Water bottles and other items that some of the Guardians players in the outfield after the Yankees game-winning
Oh, looks like it says England.
hit. This happened after one of Cleveland's players was seen confronting a fan in the stands, also taunting a teammate. Listen.
Like I said, you can celebrate, chirp all you want during the game, but don't try to get people hurt. That's not how things work. And honestly, at the end of the day, we're human beings as well. So we're not going to sit there, and I personally am not going to sit there and allow them to just throw stuff at me and take it like it's nothing.
Yeah, Yankees players were seen walking towards the fans, begging them to stop.
I like that they tried to do that.
They did. They tried to get the fans to behave. Maustra, center fielder, said, worst fan base on the planet.
Yeah.
Not cool.
That was disappointing. We're
Come on,
better
New York.
than that.
We're class.
Yeah, see, I won't watch roast beef ball. I mean, no offense to Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, since they're the only two people that I've seen, or I think there's something called a Manning on there. But I won't, I mean, Super Bowl, whatever, watched it for the commercials and for some insight. But for the most part, it's so displeasing to the eye. It's not a feast for me. I don't like roast beef ball. I mean, they just, by the way, put up a small news piece on what rugby looks like. I'm like, now that would have been nice, but that's not what they did in New York. They went with roast beef ball. So whatever on that. One of my new favorite commercials this morning. First time I saw it.
Bonnie Boone, I'm calling you out.
Everybody be cool, all right?
We got Bonnie right here in a video call.
We don't take kindly to video calls.
Oh, in that case, just tap to send a message.
We don't take kindly to messages neither.
In that case, how about a Ring Central phone call?
We don't take kindly to...
Would you can it, Eugene? Let's just hear her out. I've been needing a new horse.
We got ourselves a deal.
Central. This is not the stallion I was imagining.
I hear that. Just saying. I picked up and I looked inside the newest ledger. It says Little Neck and Whitestone Times. Bayside Times. That's what goes inside. Now, I really don't know how the humans, they go, like in Italiano, e su, e giù, e su. J-U to S-U. So you go from low to up, in New York, they have some Jusu system where they use the courts and they rob each other from money. All right, so it says disbarred Bayside lawyer sentenced to prison by swindling dozens of clients out of more than 1.8 million, says something called the DA. DA? Or is that DA? So, it says specifically, a disbarred Bayside attorney could spend nearly a half a decade behind bars for swindling dozens of clients out of nearly $2 million in lawsuit settlement money. I don't know what that means. Johan Choi, Yohanchoi, there's no photo of him, who's age 47, of 23rd Avenue in Bayside, operated a law office on Northern Boulevard in Flushing, pled guilty in January for grand larceny before Queens Supreme Court Justice Eugene Guarino for bilking, no idea what that word means, bilking, more than 50 clients whom he represented before and after he was barred. That's with 2 R's, and the second R leads to the word red. From practicing, according to Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz, spelled with a K, not the C. On Wednesday, April 6th, Queens Supreme Court Justice Jerry something or other sentenced Choi to 1.5 to 4.5 years, and he needs to repay something about 1.8 million in restitution. Law practice at several financial according to the charges, Choi held bank accounts for his law practice at several financial institutions, including Chase, Capital One, and HSBC. A forensic examination of these accounts showed dozens of deposits for lawsuit settlements on behalf of Choi's clients. No idea what that means. According to court records, 2016, a woman, the defendant, represented a personal injury lawsuit, agreed to settle a case for whatever the amount. The victim was entitled to just over $35,000. However, she never received any money from the settlement. Again, there's so much crime and people acting in these like noble professions, it would appear, but in the most illegitimate ways. It's taking undue necessary burden and toll on the rest of us in like a large way, in like swimming in bureaucracy that just keeps dragging you down the drain. It's horrible. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. They also have the same, there's the statue we got, Mets Celebrate Legacy icon with unveiling Tom Seaver statue. So that also went, I had said it was on the news, but they also have it in the paper for 2 sources. So today's April 25th, 2022.